Let me tell you something that's going to make you rethink someone in your life. Maybe a friend, a coworker, or the person sitting quietly in the corner at every gathering, the one who never seems rattled, never seems desperate, never needing anything from anyone. They got the promotion. You found out 6 months later, by accident, they built something extraordinary. They never said a word about it. They went through something that would have broken most people, came out stronger, and just kept walking. No post, no announcement, no trophy raised for the crowd to see, just absolute silence, where most people would have thrown a parade. And every time you discover one of these wins, you're left with the same strange feeling, not just surprise, but some kind of deep admiration. Because deep down, you know this kind of person is just different. And the question is, how and why? The easy answer is that they're humble, modest, raised not to brag. But that's not all. Humility is the absence of arrogance. What these people carry is something rare, something much quiet, something most people spend their lives chasing. What they have is completeness. They don't share their wins because they don't need the win to grow bigger through people's reactions. It's already whole, already enough, before anyone raises tear hands to clap. That is one of the most psychologically sophisticated things a human being can do. See, here's what nobody tells you about achievement in the age of social media. The moment you post a win, you don't just share it. You hand it over. You hand it over to the comments, to the likes, or the terrible silence where likes should have been, to the friend who congratulates you with one word when you expected 10, to the person who doesn't respond at all, and now you're checking and rechecking, wondering what that means. Psychologists call this the social interference effect. When external reactions flood in immediately after an achievement, they don't add to your satisfaction, they replace it. The deep, hard-earned dopamine of accomplishment gets quietly swapped out for a cheaper, shakier kind. The kind that only lasts as long as the notifications do. And the people who never share, they figured this out, not from a book, from experience, from the gut-level understanding that some things lose their magic the second you try to show them to a crowd. Because let's be honest, most achievement posts aren't celebration. They're questions, asking, do you see me? Do you think I've made it? Am I enough now? Every caption, every I'm so grateful to announce. Underneath it, there's a hand extended, waiting to be held. And there's nothing wrong with that. We're human, and we want to be witnessed. But here's what separates the people who never share. They stopped waiting for someone else to make their moment feel real. They learned to be their own witness, to stand in front of their own win and say, without anyone watching, yes, I did it. And it matters. That kind of self-possession is built, usually through pain. There was a time they shared. They were excited, maybe vulnerable. And the room didn't respond the way they hoped. A friend who jealously changed the subject. A family member who found the flaw instead of the feat. An audience who scrolled past like it was nothing. And something changed, not into bitterness, but into profound understanding that not everyone who watches you is rooting for you. Once you truly understand that, not just in your head but in your bones, you stop performing your progress for an audience that was never in your corner. You start protecting what you've built like something sacred, because it is. There's a concept in psychology called intrinsic motivation. It's the drive that lives inside you, untouched by applause, unshaken by silence. People with strong intrinsic motivation don't need celebration to feel achievement. The growth is the reward. The becoming is the destination, and that changes everything. People who keep their goals and victories private are statistically more likely to follow through, more likely to build on their success, and more likely to sustain momentum over time. Why? Because when your identity isn't tied to how the audience reacts, failure becomes information, not humiliation. A setback becomes a stepping stone, not a public collapse. And success becomes fuel that keeps burning quietly, steadily, powerfully, long after everyone else has moved on to the next trending story. They're not running from recognition. They're running on something deeper than it. And here's the most beautiful part, the one that lingers long after everything else fades. These are the people who show up fully in their own lives, not just for the highlight reel, not for the polished, curated moments, but for the quiet moments, the messy days, the unseen battles, the ordinary days that turn out to be extraordinary. They don't just visit their lives, they inhabit them. They feel the pride before it becomes performance. They taste the win before it becomes content. They sit inside the moment, completely, quietly, and they own it in a way that no amount of digital likes could ever replicate. When they finally do share, if they ever do, it's not a broadcast, it's an offering, shared with the few people who actually earned the right to witness it. And those people, they receive it like something precious, because it is. So the next time someone you know does something extraordinary and says nothing about it, don't mistake that silence for irrelevance. Don't mistake the stillness for stagnation. Don't assume they're hiding. Maybe they've simply outgrown the need for an audience to make their life feel real. They've learned that the most powerful things you'll ever do will happen in rooms with no cameras, that the deepest growth will leave no record, that the truest version of who you are will never trend, and doesn't need to. Because real confidence, it doesn't announce itself. It just keeps going, quietly, completely, unshakably. And the people who never share their wins, they remind us of something this world is desperately trying to make us forget. That you don't need to be seen to be significant. That you don't need to be loud to be very powerful. That some of the greatest things ever built were built in silence. And the person building them, they were never waiting for your applause. They were too busy becoming someone worth applauding. But here's the part that lingers. If applause disappeared tomorrow, no likes, no praise, no validation, no audience, who would you be?